$1.24. We had some good spikes up here to about $1.50, back down to that $1.24 area right now. We're hoping to see this break above that 200 EMA so we can possibly start to see some movement out of it. We got FSTX here. Not a lot going on with this. I gotta say this looks like a buyout. I didn't actually check the news on it, but it's probably a buyout. So this is most likely something we won't be playing. So we can just move that right to the back. We have RDHL here, and this one ran up pretty good today, going from about 79 cents all the way to $1.40, back down to about $1 right now. Again, hoping to break above that 200 EMA. We've got PEV, yesterday's runner, looking good still. We got from about $5.50 all the way to just under $8 here. It's holding up pretty well here above on that VWAP line, so hopefully it maintains that when the market opens. We've got Vidu, which is looking pretty good here, going from $1.60 to about $2.15. Pretty good there. Boxd also looking all right. We've got ALVO, a little bit of spotty price action here. We had a good period here where we had lots of volume and price movement, but it looks like it's dying off a little bit, so hopefully that picks back up. And then we have Rev, which is another one of yesterday's runners. Rev has been running for a couple of days. We started playing it around $2, and now it's it's up pretty high. So we might not see too much movement out of that. But as the market opens, we're going to keep an eye on everything here and see what starts to move. PEV looks like it could potentially keep going. It's really close to that top band, so we could probably try a trade on it, but I'm not expecting too much out of the PEV here. So maybe a 770 entry. We're going to go for an $8 PT and then a 755 stop. So we're going to give it a pretty tight stop here. Maybe if we can get it a little lower, that would be even better. We're at 760 right now, so maybe if we can wait for a 755 as an entry. All right, so there's 755 right there. I kind of want to get in on that number, but we may even be able to get lower. So we'll see. We'll see here. All right, so we're in. Uh, 7.35 stop loss. Does that make sense? Let's do a 7.35 stop loss on it. We're giving it a couple extra cents here. I don't think we need that. You could probably just put a 15-cent stop on it if you wanted to, but it looks like we actually just about hit that $8 mark either way, so we could probably start to take profits on that. It's not huge profits, but I don't really, I don't know what to expect out of the stock yet, so we're going to go and say we're going to take some profits. Some profits on PEV here around 8. Okay, so let's take a look at what else we got. RDHL is heading down. We've got BHAT heading down. We've got Vidu looking like it's heading down as well. Box is heading down. ALVO not really doing a whole lot yet. And Rev also heading down. FSTX doing what we thought, which is just about nothing here. So we're just going to leave that be. So far, so good on PEV. RDHL, we're really hoping this one comes back because it was looking good in the pre-market. We had so much room up here, so we're looking for that comeback on this. And same thing with BHAT. We've got basically the same pattern going on both of these. We just need to see some price action. So we did hit 795 there. It looks like it's all the way back down. Could go as low as 745. That VWAP is looking like it's pointing up pretty dramatically right now, so I'm not too worried about it, but you can never be too safe. We're going to give it a minute and see what happens here. Vidu all the way down to that VWAP line. That's going to be a potential entry right there. So we're going to go Vidu. $2 entry. We're going to go for a 220 PT and we're going to go for a 190 stop loss. So we're going to give it about 10 cents. We don't really need to necessarily give it such a big stop loss. We'll probably cut before it hits that, but always good to have a stop in place. PEV looking like it's starting to take off here. Our stop loss on PEV is about 630. Did I say 635 on PEV? No, 735. No, I said 635. Well, hopefully people understood what that meant. I think majority of people probably would, but there's always that that somebody that might not, so I have to correct it. So we're good with that. Okay, so we saw PEV come down a little bit. Looks like it's heading back up. Vidu's treating us really well here. We got our entry. Might have even gotten a little bit better on Vidu. and we're all the way back up to about 213 here. So keep that in mind. Yeah, VD was a very nice trade there. At this 210 mark, you could definitely take some profits. Don't be afraid of that because this is a $2 stock, so 10 cents does mean quite a bit here. We might even see a little bit more. We saw as high as 216 there, so that's also like really close to price target, and we're sitting up pretty high on the stock, so taking profits anywhere along here is a good idea. 216. I do think that we could probably hit that 220 mark pretty easily, so we're going to give it a chance to do that. Box D at the bottom support here, so let's see if it can hold. ALVO gapped up a little bit, but it's not really something we're interested in playing. We're above $8 on PEV now. We did hit that 828. You took it twice? Ah, lucky. I was thinking about it. Yeah, we're leaving a runner on VDO. I think PEV is looking pretty good here. I think it could potentially come back down. I'd like to see that happen again. Damn, I should have gotten it on PEV a second time. Bat still heading down. VDO down to 205. Box D starting to move back up. That's actually what we want to see on Box D. I think I'm willing to take a Box D trade as well here. Probably 250. We're going to aim for 265. Pretty tight area here. And then a 240.
Order
Let's go to
partially
243
filled.
stop.
Order filled.
So we don't need to give it a huge amount. Whoa. I clicked on charts the wrong way. I do not like that. 243. There we go. So 243 is probably the area we're aiming for on that PEV. We're at 820 still. RDHL still dipping. We have bats starting to come back a little bit here. VDO's back up to 208 here. Boxy continues its move. Got to make sure we write down Boxy entry. ALVO, we're going to close out. What else we got on the scanner right now? We've got JZXN we could take a look at. JZXN's looking pretty good here, going for $1.14. All right, so we're going to try a JZXN trade. A little uncomfortable with it, but I can't really not get in at 116 here. Okay, I really can't get in at 106. All right, that's looking good to me. We're going to go for about a 115 PT, and then a 1... What could a stop loss be on this? Probably, if this ever stops going down, we could probably take an entry, and this will make it a little bit easier. But maybe right now we'd be looking at about a 101 stop and getting in at like 104. Let's try that. I mean, if it's a stop out, it's a stop out, but that was a huge drop. We're going to have some bag holders holding it up for the rest of the way, I think. So we're probably due for a really nice recovery on this now. I'm glad it took me a little bit of stuttering there to get in, because that kind of saved us from potentially just a straight up loss there. Especially when it dropped down to, I don't know, 110. I was like, oh, there's no way it's dropping more. And it did. It dropped quite a bit more.
Order cancelled.
ADN's going as well. We could
Order
take a look at
partially
that,
filled.
yeah.
Order filled.
Yeah, ADN's going pretty good right here. Opened up around $3, around 325, and the range is okay. VDO up at 217. We did hit that 220 mark. That is PT on VDO. We could hold longer if you want to, or you can take your money out at PT here. 220 is not bad. I'm going to take a little bit more out. We're going to leave a
Order
little bit
partially
in there. We're going to
Order
see how
filled.
far we can push that. We've got
cancelled.
PEV here up at 837, looking pretty good there. You could take out a little bit more here if you want. We're up another, 30, 40 cents on PEV from our original exit, so not bad. As far as Box D goes, we took a nasty drop. We got it as high as 257, and then it dropped all the way down to 240. Where are we at? What did it drop down to? 238. So hopefully you took an exit on that. I was not able to pull out any profit on it. I probably could have pulled out a couple cents. It probably would have been okay, but I wasn't watching it, so we're taking a loss on this one. We've got Rev sitting down pretty low. We had a really good recovery on JZXN here as it hits 116, which is actually past PT. So we're going to call PT on JZXN. And we're going to take some profits out. Majority of them, at least 70%, if not more. We're going to go and maybe think about a reentry if we take another dip down there, but I don't think we're going to. I think this is probably something that's going to keep going. It looks like it was a good chance to take profits on PEV as it did come back down a little bit, and same with VDU, went up to 225. So we got a little bit more out of that if you were watching it. Looks pretty good here, so hopefully we can continue that. I think it's a pretty bullish stock, so it should, but it's also looking like it's due for consolidation. We've had a lot of green
Partially
candles
filled.
in a row with lots of
Filled.
tug of war going on. All right. Boxy continues to recover a little bit here. I'm not sure I want to trust
Partially
that
filled.
quite yet. We've
Filled.
got Rev still dropping. It might be the bottom here. Yeah, it's hard to say. We haven't even seen this low since yesterday in the pre-market, so we'll have to see if that turns around. JZXN around 117 currently, ADN around that 330 mark. Looking a little high. I'd like to see consolidation back towards this 323 area, but it looks like it's just blowing through previous resistances here. VDU back up to 217. PEV still sitting around that 840 level. Still looking good there. I think this is probably due for a decent sized pullback as well. I mean, we just ran from 740 to 840, so a whole dollar move here. I'm okay holding this runner though, just in case. VDU back up to 220 almost. Looks like we've taken a little bit of these candles are very, very wide for this stock. JZXN, I'm hoping that we can hit 125. If we can hit 125, I'll take the remainder out. I'd be happy with that. Seems like a far off target though. So we'll have to see. We're at 118 though, so you could take a little bit more if you want to. I mean, it's only a couple cents more from where we took profits last time.
Order cancelled.
Rev making a
Order
nice
partially
recovery
filled.
here. This could be a dead cat bounce, so I
Order
want to
filled.
see a little bit of a pullback on it to see if it drops down harder or if it holds. PEV still sitting up really high. JZXN still holding 115. ADN still climbing. I'd like to see that consolidation happen relatively quickly here. We've got a couple items we can look at. MSPR also climbing up pretty nicely here, going from $1.94 all the way to 240. Again, we're waiting on those pullbacks. We're starting to see one there, and we've got what else coming? SFT is popping up and looks like it's getting some attention. SFT is looking good, going from 78 cents to $1.09, basically $1.10 there.
Order partially filled.
Yeah, again, waiting for a pullback on that. We need to see a pullback on some of these stocks before we jump in. VDU back up to 220 here. Looks like it's pushing that 225 mark. If we hit 230, I'll take the last little bit out of VDU, I think. PEV, we hit 850 there. Not a bad area to take out the remainder if you want to. It looks like we're going to hit a dip here, so how far this dip could go? Probably down to VWAP at 780. Always a possibility. ADN sitting up pretty high here. MSP are also sitting up pretty high, and we have SFT just shooting straight up. All right, so I think it's one of those days where we kind of have to jump in on things and take the risk. So we're going to go with SFT here. I'd like to get in around 110. We're going to aim for that. We're going to go for maybe 120. So we're looking for 10 cents profit on it, and then a 106 stop. So we're going to give it about 4 cents. That's what we're aiming for, is a 4 cent stop out. 111 is not bad. We could get in and get out at 107 if it stops us out here. You might get that 110. You could even get lower than 110. I think that's definitely doable as well, because it looks like consolidations around 108, but depends on your risk tolerance and your patience. I've got the worst on both ends of it. I've got no patience and low risk tolerance, so
Order
that means a tight
cancelled.
stop loss and sometimes bad
Order
entries.
partially filled.
Although
order
sometimes it
filled.
does pay off. PEV back up, looking like it's hitting that 850 mark soon. VDO still looking like it wants to hit that 220 area. Hoping for 230 here soon. Rev hitting the consolidation. GZXN looking like it did hit that 119 mark. We're still looking for about 125 out of that remainder. ADN's holding up pretty high. We have MSPR running, and we have a little bit of profit here on SFT so far at 113, 114 area, as high as 115 there. MSP could be another one. We're looking to get into MSPR, sorry, at we're probably looking at about 240 for an entry. MSPR 240. We're going to be aiming for 260 with a 232 stop loss. So we're going to give it a little bit of room here. We can maybe squeak out 8 cents on it. We're looking for about a 20-cent PT on it. We saw a drop down to 243, not the worst area to jump in. We're going to see what this can do. SFT kind of all over the place. We did see a bearish candle here. This one's looking a lot more bullish, so that's good. MSP back up. ADN still not doing much. We still have GZXN looking like it's going to come back down to bounce off VWAP. Rev did hold. Wasn't a dead cat bounce yet. Looks like it could continue up, so that's good news. VDO all the way back down. We saw it hit 221 all the way down to $1.96. This is a pretty expected drop on this stock. However, we are quite a bit below that VWAP line. So at this point, we just need to pick a good place to jump back in. PEV also took a nasty drop down to 750. So we're looking for a re-entry on that. SFT down to entry again. So if you didn't take profits around that 115 mark, it's looking like it might not be such a good idea anymore, but these candles are still closing pretty bullish. We're still seeing pretty big tails on this. Still enough buying pressure might keep us up. MSRP drops down to 236. That's going to be about our entry on this, so let's jump in on that. At 236, we're looking at a 8-cent stop loss, so we're going to go for 228 stop out. So right there. And we're up to 242. ADN looks like it wants to go again. PEV looking like it's probably at an area of
order partially filled.
Support here. Could be an area of support, but I think it's also halted down right now, so we're going to have to wait on that. Foxy reversed and hit PT. Of course it did.
Order partially filled.
PEV is halted. We've got VDO around that $2 mark. You know what? It's holding this area pretty well. I think I'm willing to risk a VDO trade here. So we're going to go for that $2 entry, 220 PT, and then a 195 stop out. So fairly tight stop because we want to be safe. We want to make sure that we're not risking too much on something that's dropping. But there could be an impending reversal here, so that's what we're kind of aiming for. If we can get a little lower than $2, even better. I still don't want to move that stop down because we don't know where the bottom of this is going to be. GZXN still holding. MSRP drops to stop, so we're stopping out on that. SFT back down to 110 here. Looks like that's stopping out if he didn't take profits around that 115 mark. Okay, so SFT, MSPR.
Order partially filled. Order filled. Order cancelled.
SFT might be a play off this VWAP line. I think that's going to be the next goal that I want to try. I think this is also still ultra risky, so no need to follow if your tolerance doesn't allow for it. 104, 115 PT, and then a $1 stop out. This is right off VWAP, so hopefully VWAP can hold. If not, we'll take a fairly decent loss on it, or we'll probably cut before that. I mean, if it drops down to like 102, I'd
Order
probably be
partially
looking to
filled.
cut anyway, but it looks like we're recovering
filled.
pretty quickly here off VWAP.
Order cancelled.
We're at 109 so far, almost 110. I'm going to start taking profits here. Taking profits on SFT here, 110, leaving a runner. All right, 111. Way to go. Look at that. Almost 112. Nice recovery off VWAP. VDO crashed. Yep. So we are stopping out on VDO as well. About a 4-cent loss on that. Rev, in fact, did break down. If it holds here, it could be double bottom, could be on its way back up, so we'll keep an eye on that. JZXN with a nasty dip back down to 107. This is going to be our entry on JZXN as well. So we're going to go for like a 107 entry. We're going to go for that 115 mark again, and we're going to go for give it a 103 stop. Looking good so far. We're already making a recovery on JZXN. That's looking half decent. SFT went all the way up to 117, so that's actually past our PT. SFT taking more profits. I think that you could probably take most of it out. I'm going to leave a tiny bit in there. We did hit up to 117 there. Highest is almost 119 on the day, so we're pretty close to that high a day. We could break through it. That's why we're leaving a little bit in there. But again, we hit some strong resistance last time and saw it tumble back down to VWAP. So we're expecting basically the same result. And MSRP is looking pretty much dead in the water right now. I could see a little bit of resistance here, $2, but if not, we're looking at $1.93, and I don't think we'll be playing it at that point. ADN could be a potential play. It's pretty tight though. We did see JZXN hit up to 115 there, so that's actually PT on JZXN as well. I'm going to take a little bit of profit here. The average amount, we're going to let the rest run because we could hit 117 or maybe even 120 again pretty easily.
Order partially filled.
Yeah, man.
Order partially
If you're not 100%, it's better to
Order
just
filled.
take your profits and walk away. And 15% is pretty damn good. Box D knife again. Oh yeah, that one's done. I think the stock is done. ADN is beautiful. Are you in it? It's always beautiful if you're in it. Kind of a pain if you're not. Uh-oh, ADN coming down a little bit here. SFT still holding that 113, 114 area. We have JZXN at 110 again. It looks like it went down to 108, so that could be a potential
Order
entry
partially
here.
filled.
We're looking a little risky
Order
with that
filled.
MACD, so that's something to keep an eye on.
Order cancelled.
Rev still dropping off the face of Earth. We have a nice recovery on PEV so far, but do we trust it? I don't trust it, but I think I'm still going to do it. So we're going to go PEV. I'd like to get in around 750. We're going to aim for $8. and then a 7. Give it to 730.
Order partially filled. Order filled.
So stop loss is going to come down a couple cents there. We're hoping to get in around 750. It's not too much of a drop. If you have to get in a little higher, just give it about that 20 cents room from wherever you get in. We're just about at entry here at 750. Kind of want to look at other stocks, but I also don't want to miss this. SFT is actually hitting, we're at 750 now, dropping a little bit below 740. I'll take it. So at 740, our stop loss will be 720. There you go. All right, now SFT did hit that 118 mark. We did see it hit that high, 119. So we're looking to take some more profits out on that. Got a little bit left in that trade. We're going to see if we can push past. Looks like we're pushing a little bit past there, 122. We're going for a squeeze to 125, taking the rest out there. Taking the rest out on that squeeze. Did shoot up. That's what I wanted to see on SFT. We got up to 125 there. That was looking beautiful. It could still go up higher, but you know what? I'm happy with that profit. We got in at 103 area, out at 125. That was a massive, massive trade. It went up to 130. We're at 130 on it. If you're still in it, it could squeeze higher. It's getting pretty risky with the amount of profit that we have, but it is what it is. We have PEV here looking good. It does hit this resistance line. Let's see if we can break through. It might get rejected. We're through that. We might get rejected at VWAP now. Looks like we don't have enough strength so far to push through it, but we might get there. PEV is looking like it's probably going to be the winner for today. VDU all the way down to that bottom band. This is probably an entry position on VDU. So we're going to go in at 185. We're going to go for a $2 PT and a 180 stop loss. We're going to move this down a little bit so we can put our stop at that 180 level. Pretty tight stop. Don't have a lot of room for error here. The stock does move a lot, so it does yield high profits, but it also could stop us out very, very quickly. So those are things you have to watch for. SFT hits that high of 130. Looks like it's coming down a little bit here. What else we got going on here? ADN's coming down a little bit. JZXN's it's doing okay, actually. You know what? It's doing better than I thought, so we'll give it credit where credit's due. BoxD's looking pretty dead. VDU up to 190, so we're technically 5 cents in profit right now, so it's looking pretty good. PEV, you can take some profits here at 780 if you want. At 780, we're 40 cents in profit on this. That's not terrible. So I'm going to take a little bit out here. Taking a little profit on PEV at 780. Just in case it does come down on us. And that just leaves VDU at 191. I was looking at it earlier. It does look really choppy, not really a defined direction coming back down. I think it's bouncing out this VWAP. You probably have to the upper band. Probably, I don't know, I'd be playing this on a long going up to about 3781.25. And then I'd probably be looking to see if it continues up. If it looks a little weak, I'd be opening a short back down to about 3768. Unfortunately, I can't. Oh, is he speaking? That's good to know. I didn't even know that. That could definitely define how I trade in the next hour or so. SFT's all the way up to 130 again. Looks like it hit 132. MSPRs looks like it's coming back a little bit here. We got JZXN not really doing a whole lot. VDU still seeing that 190 mark. We did see 196 out of it. That's pretty good, actually. We could definitely start to take profit on that. Definitely a good area to take profit on VDU. Because we are technically about 10, 11 cents up on a $1.80 stock, so not bad. PEV still struggling to break through. FFT basically doubled itself like from today. Yeah, from 74 cents. Yeah, it hits 140. It's 140.
Order
Nasty
cancelled.
drop. It's 135 and took
Order
a little bit of a
partially
drop
filled.
here. I mean, like we got a long ways to go to
Order
hit that
filled.
VWAP line. So I'm looking at that VWAP line as the next there is a candle. Yeah, that's a candle. Oh, that's lame. Vidu back down a little bit here. It's still looking pretty good, I gotta say. I don't know if this is gonna stop us out or not. I highly doubt it. SFT back up a little bit here. MSRP taking another dip. ADN still around that 340 area. We shall see if this has a potential squeeze. Bands are coming in pretty tight. This looks like it could potentially squeeze here. So I think I'm actually going to jump in on an ADN trade. 330. I guess 340 is probably where we're going to get in. We're going to aim for 340. I'd like to get at least 360 out of it. And we'll give it a 330 stop loss because you know what? The stock doesn't really have too much movement in it. I can't really expect a high PT, but I can't really afford to give it more than 10 cents room either. So we'll see what it does. PEV is still struggling. So if you still have majority in PEV, I'd be looking to take it out as we are still heading down on MACD and we have yet to break through that resistance line. Just some food for thought there. BHAT is just dropping. RDHL is not looking great, so we're not going to play that. BoxD, probably not, but we'll keep it open for now. MSRP is looking pretty dead, so we can drop that. Looks like we've got pretty much everything we need right now. ADN with a nasty, nasty red candle takes us out just like that. So if you were waiting for an entry, this could potentially be it. If you are were already in, that's a big rip. And the trade tracker is still broken. I asked KSauce to fix it. He hasn't gotten around to it yet, but I tried for like 20 minutes this morning. Can't really figure out what's
Order
wrong with it, so
partially
it'll
filled.
have to wait till whenever he's got time
Order
to fix
filled.
it. Yeah, that was a big
Order
tank.
cancelled.
I could like there's like maybe like a 3% chance in my mind that we could have gotten stopped out that fast on this stock, but it happened. So Vidu's still looking it's okay, but you know what?
Order
With Powell
partially
speaking pretty
filled.
soon, I think stocks are starting to get a little iffy.
Order partially filled.
PEV is looking like it's coming down a little bit.
Order filled.
Vidu is starting to come down a little bit as well. Hoping to hit that VWAP line at least. JZXN is still in it. Yeah, I took out some profits at that 115 mark of PT, but we haven't seen much past it yet. Vidu kind of struggling. I think Vidu probably looks good. JZXN's looking all right. SFT is definitely a possibility, and PV. The rest of these not really great, especially ADN with that nasty, nasty drop. Look at that; it's all the way down to the 200
Order
EMA, just
partially
like that. It just went
Order
from like
partially
a
filled.
345 all the way down to
Order
314.
partially filled. Order
You
partially
try another
filled.
entry and hit stop loss, yeah.
Order filled.
Yeah, see, and like right here, I would
Order
have definitely
cancelled.
thought that looked like a good entry,
Order
but again,
partially
another
filled.
big knife. So I think ADN might be
Order
done for the
filled.
day too. ES sitting up pretty high. I'd be looking to get in here on a short. Let's see what happens with that. The trade tracker link. It should be. We have a lot of channels. Oh, it got moved into the mentorship section, I think. Yeah. Yeah, we should make that public again. I don't know why it got moved into the mentorship section. Lots of people have the link though, or can get you the link. I could get you the link too. I've got it somewhere. We've got SFT back down a little bit to that 119 area. Still not quite where I'd like to see it, but I think this is probably about as good as we're gonna get. Maybe SFT at 120. We're gonna go for 130, and then a 116 stop loss. What did we drop down to here? 119. It would honestly, I'd like to give it a little bit more room. So if we can get in a little lower, I think that's what we'll do. But I don't know if we'll get that. I would like to have a stop at 114 or maybe even 113 or 112, but we'd be basically hitting SFT at VWAP at that point. And I just don't see that happening right this second.
Order partially filled. Order partially filled. Order filled.
Hey, there you go. JZXN up a
partially
little
filled.
bit there, hit 112, 113 area.
Order
VU back
partially
up a
filled.
little bit at 190.
Order partially filled.
Box D still sitting pretty
Order
low. Looks like
partially
a
filled.
double bottom on that. Rev
Order partially
still
filled.
struggling.
Order partially filled.
PEV definitely struggling.
Order partially filled.
SFT with a
Order
nasty
filled.
drop. There's where we want to buy
Order
in, so
partially
we're gonna
filled.
jump back in.
Order partially filled.
SFT
Order partially filled.
115. We're gonna go for a
Order
125
partially filled.
price target with a
Order filled.
let's do a 111 stop.
Order partially filled.
Looks like a pretty safe area there. 111. Could be
partially
wrong.
filled.
Could get knifed on again like ADN, but
Order partially filled.
willing to take that chance.
Order partially filled. Order partially filled. Order partially filled.
Let's see how it
Order
looks. If it
filled.
starts to break down, we'll probably cut early just to save us some pain here, but we'll see. We just broke bearish, so that's definitely not a good sign, but we could retrace. So that's basically what we're hoping for. Here's a retracement. God, ADN back down to 303. Look at that. Knife after knife after knife after knife. PEV still holding that 750 mark. Sophie or SFT takes a pretty big drop here. We're basically at stop. There it is. Hopefully you took a little bit less of a brunt hit there. Maybe you got it around 113 or 114. But yeah. MSRP has been. Yeah, MSRP is not looking good. I think everything's just starting to tank now as we get closer to the Feds talking. Pretty normal market reaction. So we'll probably sit on our hands here for a little bit.
Order filled.
Yeah, I don't think like this looks like it could potentially reverse here. It's got some support, but I just don't trust it. We'll have to wait. We still have a runner in Vdoo. We still have a runner in JZXN. Vdoo's looking pretty good here. Hits that 197, 198 area again. Same. ADN hit, SFT hit. Oh, okay, just two. Vdoo, we made money on it. We're still in it. And JZXN, we're still in it. Made money on. PEV, we made some money on. Nothing great, unfortunately. Yeah, SFT continues its drop. Nasty. We'll wait for a turnaround that MACD. Maybe we'll see something there. We shall see. We're hoping to hit at least $2 on Vdoo here. If we hit $2, we could take out some more. Maybe 202.
Order partially filled.
JZXN at 113.
Order filled.
198. We're getting pretty close. MACD crossed on PEV. It's looking okay. I think that we still have some strong resistance here, and if we're hitting resistance, I'm not really sure I want to be in it. Stocks are having a hard enough time moving without the resistance. We're up right at the bottom here. Let's take a look at ES. My trade on ES would have been so good. So good. We would have been in at 3792 on a short. I probably would have taken a cut somewhere long before down here, though. I have to say, I'd be out a lot sooner than that. Probably 2 or 3 points down, maybe 5 points. Sometimes I let things run up to 5 or 8 points, but that's really the max. I don't really ever take more risk than that. Yeah, if it was my first trade, it would have been. I did it again yesterday. It was a really small window. I noticed as soon as I entered the trade, I looked over. I was like, ah, crap, it's the sim again. So I walked away 33 sim dollars. PEV resistance. You're looking at PEV resistance at 777 and then again at 782. Looks like we've crossed it, so we're waiting for a retest. Looks like we're not going to get the retest. Could potentially be a trade here. I'm still going to let it be. I'm going to sit on my hands for a little while here. VDU hit a high there of $1.99, so that's about as close as we've gotten to PT on that, which is 1 cent off. JZXN back up, hits that 115 mark again, which is PT, or just actually, I think it just barely touched 116 there. SFT, this could be the bottom. We see the MACD curling. I think I'm gonna try it. SFT tried for 108.
Order
Probably won't get 108. We're gonna try for a
Order partially filled.
maybe just a 115. We'll see where that takes us, and we'll go for a 1-0. Give it a 104 stop. We do have this is still really high risk trade. So again, if you're not feeling it, don't take it. But you know what? This is quite a few candles here bottoming out 108 there. So I think that this might be worth the risk. If it breaks down from 108, I'm just gonna cut it. Even if it's just like 2 cents below, I'm gonna cut it.
Order partially filled.
JZXN, yeah, looking pretty good. I still have a runner in that. I still have the runner in VDU. Well, a small runner now, but all right. So we're seeing 107. If we hit 106, I'm out.
Order partially filled. Order partially filled. Order filled.
Breaking through support on SFT at 106. Just typing out so I can give people as much warning as possible if it does touch that. It could turn around here. I'm hoping it does, but you can't really be too sure. We still have volume. We still have that MACD sort of curling up, so we've got some opportunity here, but it's not looking too great. Especially with Powell getting ready to talk or talking. I have to actually look up when that is. When I get a chance here. Up and down, ascent. All right. If SFT breaks 106, I'll be exiting. There we go. Just type it out like that so people just know. VDU's looking okay. How's our short going on ES? Looks like it would have been a pretty fantastic short. I would be going long about here. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Say we'll go long here, just for fun. Yeah, there you go. SFT still struggling. That bottom band is opening up pretty wide, but so is the top one. MACD looks like it's recovering, so we might see a play on SFT here. PEVs, yeah, it's still going. After that break, though, we've only hit like 20 cents profit. It's not enough on an $8 stock to make me really want to jump in on it. Come on, SFT. Looks like the long play was the way to go on ES there. Probably hit a good. I don't even know what the points on this is. 373 to I don't know, like 380. Oh, okay. That's good news. It's looking pretty boring so far. I mean, SFT is going up and down like 1 cent at a time. PEVs were really not doing much for making profit here. We've got Vidu at back at 195. We saw it try to push for that $2 mark again. I think we can still. I think this is going to be a big winner. It's just taking forever to get there. So we're gonna have to see. Gonna have to see what this has in store. JZXN with a nasty dip. We have SFT at 110. Ah, so slow. Bot had a nice run. Let's take a look at BHAT. Oh, that's not B. Whoops, BH. Having a little bit of an issue here. Bat does look pretty decent. Did have a nice run here, going from about 113 all the way to 130. Um, looks a little overextended. We'll see. We'll see. SFT back down to 1.7 just like that. Still so far has refused to give up that 107 mark. There's 106. All right, we'll take our cut on that. ES looking good. Man, I need more screens so I can be trading futures and stocks at the same time. I definitely don't have enough screens to run streaming software for two different things and a brokerage account and a scanner and charts. PEV did actually make a little bit of a move there to 840, so that would have been about a 40-cent move. That makes it a little more worth it. ADN hits such a low here. We're actually lower than anything today, so nasty. Look at that drop.
Order cancelled. Order partially
I think
filled.
Box D could turn around. I would say
Order partially filled.
I'd say, yeah, I would
partially
say
filled.
this is probably a decent area for a turnaround. I think
Order
that if
partially
not,
filled.
you'd be looking at another turnaround potential at 206, but I
partially
don't think
filled.
we're going to get that low today. I think this is probably the low. We're very far away from that 200
Order
EMA, so I
partially
think we're
filled.
going to see at least a little bit of a consolidation up towards that, maybe back up to around that 240 area.
Order partially filled.
That MACD or the
Order
VWAP is
partially
moving
filled.
down quite dramatically there, so that's something we have to watch
Order
for.
partially filled. Order partially filled.
But yeah,
Order
I would say
partially
there's
filled.
a decent chance of a recovery there.
Order partially filled. Order partially filled.
Man, we're basically just waiting on Vidu. I don't think we're going to be taking any other
Order
trades
filled.
today, so Just the VDU and JZXN for the runners, and that's really it. CDU, all right. VDU and CDU. Yeah, CDU's looking pretty good here. 509. 450 to $5. The range isn't great on it. It's got potential. You could make a little bit of money on it, but I wouldn't say it's anything fantastic. We got a couple other things we could probably check out here. TBLT. That one's looking okay. I mean, it's gone from 140 to 160, so not terrible. There's RDUS. 4 to 5% in that range, yeah. RDUS, definitely not something we're going to be playing. Kirk popped up earlier. I didn't like the pre-market though. Did have a decent run at open though. We went from 486 up to 530 with a high there of 550 and then back down. So yeah, again, nothing we can play right now, but yeah, not bad. 5% range. Yeah, you might be able to get a little bit out of this, like 20 cents. Bad on the other hand, looks like it's going nuts right now. Breaking through the final resistance there. Yeah, man, this is too high. It's too high to jump in, which is unfortunate because it looks good. PEV could be a potential play. JZXM back up to 104. VDU did break that $2 PT, so we're finally able to say that we hit PT on VDU after I can't even tell you how long. 20 minutes? 25 minutes? More interested in bat right now, though. Not that I can jump in on it this high. I would really, really have to wait for this to come down at least back to that like 135 area, but we'll see. I mean, if it breaks through that final resistance and starts running, it could be a good idea to jump in before a halt, but again, that's we'll have to wait and see if that happens. ADN. I could take a look at ADN again. I think ADN sitting in an area with very, very little support. You might be looking at a little bit of support from here yesterday, but that's like a high a day, and it's not necessarily looking great. I think you'd have a lot more support around that 280 area. So, I mean, I'd be looking for a reversal around 280, but it could reverse here. I just wouldn't have too much faith in it, especially with that 200 DMA pulling down so hard. I'd be looking at 280 for a reversal. So we're not getting a halt on a bat right now. It's going to come back down. TBLT is up pretty high still. Still kind of waiting on VDU to break through that resistance and kind of push back up to about 220. That would be ideal. SFT continues its breakdown, so that 106 cut was definitely a good idea.
Order partially filled. Order partially filled. Order filled.
Nice. So with that sim that you're playing, or the paper account, I assume that even though the data is 15 minutes behind, that the trade itself is also 15 minutes behind, because like if you're on a real account and your data is behind 15 minutes, that doesn't mean that you're getting filled at that 15-minute delay. You're getting filled at the price it is now, even though it's showing you a different price. If that made sense at all. Well, that's good. That broke the final resistance. Yeah, it sure did. We could try it. It's going to be a YOLO play, I think. BHAT. We're going to go for a 150 entry. We're going to head for a 165 and then a 147 stop. YOLO play. Not my usual. Well, kind of my usual. I think most of the plays I take are fairly risky, but this one is like really risky. Not something I'm super confident in, but I don't think we should sit here and do nothing. I mean, we might as well try to make some money. We're gonna be sitting here watching charts. We'll see if this can push pretty high here.
Order partially filled.
It's live
Order
data, but
partially
live
filled.
for 15 minutes back. Weird.
Order filled.
168. We're looking good on this so far. We technically passed PT, but I got in pretty late here, so I'd like to hit at least 170, I think.
Order partially filled. Order partially filled. Order partially filled. Order partially filled.
Taking some profits out around here.
Order partially filled. Order partially filled.
I know we jumped up
Order
like
cancelled.
really fast there.
Order filled.
You never know with these stocks. That's why it's a YOLO play, right? Like like this could have definitely just done nothing and came back down and stopped the sell like instantly. But if you don't take the risk, you can't really be upset when it does stuff like that and jumps up. Like I got in at 156. Yeah, but 156. 152 to 174. Damn, that's a good entry. Gotta risk it for the biscuit. That's correct. Could potentially go higher, so I still have some in there. We'll see where it takes us. Vidu, just break that two. Just hit like 205 and you'll start flying. I swear. Promise. Foxy, it looks like it is starting a reversal here. Probably have a little bit of resistance here, 238, and you'll probably have some more around that 243 area. Bat's still holding up pretty high, which is nice. ADN hasn't dropped any further, so that's good news, I guess. What are we going, Wiz? Hey, yeah, my short would have, or my long would have worked out really well too. Wouldn't be risking a play right here, though, that's for sure. Supply is the bottom, right? Like support. Supply is support. Supply is the top. Right, demand. Demand would be the bottom. I don't know. I have to figure that stuff out again. All I know is candlesticks. That's weird. I don't like that. They have to contact their service desk to enable it. Imbalance of sellers. Got it. So demand is a support, and supply is a demand. Resistance. Supply is resistance. I did, but it was more or less for the general idea of futures, and then he tried teaching me supply and demand, and I was like, "This is hard. I'm gonna do what I gotta do, and just trade candlesticks." Worked out pretty well so far, I gotta say. Hey, whoa, okay, all right, taking some profits out here. taking more profit on bat round 2-ish. Like we got real close there. We got 196 out of that. That was a crazy punch. We just about made 50 cents off the stock. Yeah, that was a nice push on bat. I can't even say what I'm up because the trade tracker's just royally messed up, but that's okay. We'll figure it out another day. Don't be sad you called it a day. Every time you're not looking at something or you're done trading, there's always going to be something that runs. Like I'm having serious FOMO here on ES. I could have been done trading like an hour ago, which doesn't make sense because an hour ago would have been just starting. But well, I mean, like technically, yeah. But yeah, I called two really good moves on this, and I would have been done with that already. But I'm gonna have to start here in a couple minutes and hope for the best. 130 right now. That's pretty low. Yeah, well, you should probably jump in because it goes all the way up to $2. Yeah, I buy it exactly. All right, guys, it looks like we're out of time for the day. I'm closing up the rest of Vidu here at 203. We're finally pushing through. We did see 208 there. Thank God for that. That took a whole half an hour. But other than that, we saw BAT almost hit $2. SFT made us some money and then took a little bit of it back. But all around, we made some good plays. We got some good money. We did hit quite a few stops today, so that probably brought down our win rate a little bit. But looking good so far. But other than that, I will catch you guys again tomorrow. So take care, guys.